Hey, this is C&D Channel. I'm Chris. This is also Chris, and this is MMA for you. We're going to be doing our predictions for UFC 168, Silva versus Weidman 2, which happens on December 28th. Can we check this out in Q's Lounge, my man?
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Rexy, Q's Lounge, also Boiler Room.
Is that Santa Ana?
That is in Garden Grove.
Garden Grove.
It's
okay.
I think it's formerly known as Chill with a Y.
Mm-hmm.
It's on I don't know. It's in Garden Grove. But anyways, Q's Lounge. Check it out. UFC fights. We never charge a cover.
Cool, man. What do you think about these UFC fights, man?
You mean lately or UFC 168?
This card, man. What do you think about this card?
Silva versus Weidman 2. The first fight was kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone ever anticipated seeing Anderson Silva get knocked out, and so obviously he's immortal and he's human just like the rest of us. But
think it was a fluke?
Fluke? I think that's a bit of a hyperbole. Definitely have more respect for Chris Weidman and his skill set, but no, definitely not a fluke. But this time around, I'm sure Anderson Silva is not going to be as arrogant as he was in the first match. I don't think he's going to leave his arms down like he did in the first time around. And I think the second, there's a lot. This happens a lot in UFC fights. There's a second fight, and they make adjustments. They both make adjustments, but I have a feeling that the outcome may be a little bit different. But that's something that we're going to be discussing on the show. So
cool, man. Let's get started then. In the main event, we have, and it's weird to say this, UFC middleweight champion Chris Weidman versus former UFC middleweight champion Anderson the Spider Silva.
Yep.
That is really odd to say. I mean,
right?
So you have Anderson, right?
I'm going with Anderson Silva.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I think he was a little bit arrogant, I don't think you should ever underestimate your opponent, and I think when you do that, and you kind of disrespect him to a certain degree, it's just not a good way to approach a fight. And so I think this time around, he's going to make the necessary adjustments, and I think even though Weidman has a very good ground game, I think that Anderson Silva is going to be able to, to counter all that, and he's, I just hope he doesn't take Weidman for granted again, and I'm gonna go with Anderson Silva.
Cool, man. Anderson Silva, 33-5 record, 20 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by sub. He's 38 years old. Training out of T. Noguera on X Gym. He has strong Muay Thai, good boxing, good kicks, good knees, creative stand-up, super unorthodox, uses range wall, accurate, good defense, taunts his opponents. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. His weakness is wrestling, but his takedown defense is improving. Champion Chris Weidman, 10-0, undefeated record, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. 29 years old, training out of Cerro Longo. He is a UFC middleweight champion. Strong wrestler, strong ground and pound. Really good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There are people that said that if Weidman didn't go to MMA and he stuck with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he'd probably be one of the top Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in the world. You can see his matchup against Andre Galvão, which he did very well against. His front chokes are really good, especially his Darce. Stand-up solid. There's a lot to say about this fight. I mean, now, for me, there's the head versus the heart. It's like, my heart says Anderson Silva. He's dominated every opponent he's faced. Even against good wrestlers like Chael Sonnen, he's managed to find ways to win. Despite his age, he's still shown to be very quick, very accurate, and just awesome. Chris Weidman, 29 years old. Wrestler, good on the ground. You saw in the first fight, took him down instantly, ground and pounded him. Went for a leg lock that Anderson managed to escape. He didn't need to do it. There are some questions here. One question here, also, let's just say this fight goes a couple rounds. How's Chris Weidman's cardio? Honestly, his cardio is actually one of the more questionable things. Anderson managed to defend a takedown in the second round. If he didn't taunt him, if he didn't play like he got hurt, would he have gotten knocked out? He is so off balance. He was so out of position. Does that happen next time? Does he fight with his hands up more? Is he more focused? I don't know.
So who are you picking? I think you're confusing the viewers.
No, man. I don't confuse viewers. I always present. No. What do you mean?
I'm listening. I just want to hear your pick.
I always present
a fair and unbiased, objective view, right?
And
you want to give a balanced, assessment, right? That's
who both guys, how both guys can win, and what questions need to be asked coming into this fight.
Sure.
It's a very big fight. I got, you know what? My heart says Anderson. My head says Chris Weidman. I'm gonna go with Weidman. Boo! I hear a lot of boos all of a sudden.
No, I just disagree with you. That's all.
And honestly, people, and that's fine. I mean, we've seen Anderson so dominant for so long, and we finally seen him mortal. But in a sense, that was a bit like, was it because Weidman was that good, or is Anderson just fooling around too much? You know what I mean? I think Weidman, especially with the wrestling, can really get it done, and just his ground game. Anderson on the feet, though. I mean, for all I know, he times a takedown, knees him in the face, and Weidman gets knocked out. I mean, the crazy thing with Anderson Silva, it's possible. I mean, it's very possible that Anderson just beats him up in the stand-up, drops him or something, ground and pounds, done, or something like that. It's not impossible. I just think Chris Weidman's younger. I'm also going to say this, and I don't know if there's merit to this or not, if it's a salient point or not.
Did you say salient?
Salient, yeah.
That's a big word.
Is this a salient point or not? He's 38 years old. He's been UFC middleweight champion for a long time. Does Anderson Silva still have that hunger? Does he care? Is this just a paycheck? I mean, I don't know. He does have all those sponsorships, and I don't think all the sponsors want him losing. I mean, Nike doesn't. I don't know if they want to sponsor a guy off a 2-fight losing streak. Were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say, do you want to know what Vegas thinks?
What does Vegas think?
Vegas is siding with me. They got Anderson by just, the slimmest of margins.
Now, as fight time approaches, though, that I mean, we're a month away. This is something.
No, I will say this. I checked it about a week ago, and it was actually Weidman.
Yeah.
Was the favorite. So what happens is, as money starts pouring in.
Oh yeah, I know how it works.
It'll shift, and so the consensus or the betting public is starting to get more confidence in Silva. So his stock is going up, and so that's reflected. And then, so, I mean, like you said, we have a month to go. But, for the moment, Silva is the favorite.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I got Weidman. You got Silva. I want Silva. If Silva wins, I'm just going to say this right now. If Silva wins, if he gets a knockout or just wins with decisions, I'll be jumping for joy. It's just, you're asking me who I think's going to win.
Sure.
I think Weidman. Who I want to win, Anderson Silva all the way. Don't get me wrong there. Anderson Silva is one of my top favorite fighters of all time. It's just who I think will win, Chris Weidman. Okay, next fight after that, for the women's bantamweight title, we have Ronda Rousey versus Miesha Cupcake Tate. I think this fight's just going to be like the first fight in Strikeforce, man. I got Ronda Rousey. Armbar, first or second round. How about you?
I've got Ronda Rousey. pretty much pretty easy pick for me. It says here all wins by first round armbar. So I suggest Miesha or Cupcake. Watch out for that armbar, right? Because I mean that looks like what's gonna be like what's been going on. And let's see what else. It says she's a judo bronze medalist Olympian too. Strong to clinch, good scrambles, unknown stand-up, and unknown cardio. Unknown stand-up because the armbar is so effective.
Unknown stand-up because her style of fighting really is bullying. She'll throw like 3 jabs, almost run to her opponent, clinch, get a takedown, move to dominant position, and find an armbar. I mean, seriously, she doesn't I bet you she's had like maybe no more than 2 minutes of actual stand-up. I mean 1 minute, to be honest, of actual stand-up in all 7 of her fights. I'm not gonna lie. I think she only has like a very, very small amount of actual stand-up in her fights. If you see her fights, she comes in there. She has this really ugly-looking triple jab. She throws all the time.
Sure.
Rushes her opponent, goes for the clinch, gets a takedown, and it's really nice. It's all technical too. It's not technical. It's all very technical. Moves to dominant position. If she gets like back mount or mount, she'll start throwing punches, and then she'll usually find the opening for the armbar. Miesha Tate's already lost her. She got her arm, I think, dislocated or something back in March 2012. Lost by armbar. The only thing that's questionable with Rousey is maybe, I don't think her dedication's bad. You just don't know about her stand-up or cardio. She's never been past the first round. Her stand-up, she trains with the right guys, but you just never see it. And with Tate, she didn't have the best stand-up, but everyone's going to mention how, like, Tate did manage to tag her, and then Rousey looked kind of, it looks like she was almost turning away when she got hit. So, I mean, it's tough to say about Miesha's style. She really goes forward, and she almost like lunges forward when she strikes, which opens her up to getting clinched. And from the clinch, Ronda Rousey usually just gets the armbar.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Next fight after that, we have Josh the War Master Barnett versus Travis Happa Browne. Who do you got, man?
This is a pretty good fight.
Yeah, this is a great one. This one could actually determine a future #1 contender, to be honest with you.
I think I'm going to pull a switcheroo. I'm going with Travis Browne. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Trains at Jackson's. Good kickboxing. Heavy hands. Moves well. Good wrestling. The cardio could use a little bit of work. But
it's heavyweights.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are big, so... Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be focused on the power punching. So, I don't know. I like Josh Barnett a lot too, but I don't know. Babyface assassin. I think
he's now the War Master, not the Babyface assassin.
I take that back. War Master. I like him. I like Josh Barnett too, but I'm gonna go with Travis Browne.
This is interesting. As far as height goes, Travis Browne is 6'7". Josh Barnett is 6'3". Age-wise, Travis Browne's 31. Josh Barnett is 36. So it's really interesting. Experience-wise, you got 33-6 record for Josh Barnett, 8 wins by KO or TKO, 20 wins by sub. He's on a 2-fight win streak. He has strong catch wrestling, really suffocating top control, solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a good clinch, and his kickboxing is actually pretty solid as well. You mentioned a lot about Travis Browne. He's only lost once, and that was to Bigfoot. After he got injured in that fight in the first round. He does have a draw against Congo, but 11 of his 15 wins are by KO or TKO. I mean, this guy hits hard. I'm going with Josh Barnett, though. I think he can. I think he's just going to take Travis Browne to the ground, get on top of him, not make him comfortable. He's going to put a forearm to his face, forearm to his throat, make him as uncomfortable as possible, hit him ground and pound, maybe even get the submission, move to a dominant position, maybe get a submission even. Got to go with Josh Barnett to win this one.
Sounds good.
Okay, next fight after that, Jim Miller fights Fabricio Camoes. My personal opinion for this fight, bounce back fight for Jim Miller, who's coming off a no contest against Pat Healy. I think he takes this pretty easily. Just a little, way too well-rounded, way too tough, way too gritty, really resilient, got a good chin. I mean, it's just good cardio. Jim Miller, workman-like performance, as always, gets the win over Camoes. How about you, man?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Jim Miller. Good Muay Thai, tough and gritty, resilient, good chin, good cardio. Yeah, pretty. I think that's pretty easy to pick.
Yeah, and Camoes, too. 34 years old. He last fought in July 2012. And the only thing he does have going for him, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Stand-up's not the greatest. I mean, it's average, you know. Jim Miller has good stand-up as well. I don't see many, if any, places where Camoes really does have the advantage over Jim Miller. Okay, next fight after that, Dustin Poirier fights Diego Brandao. Good fight, actually. Considering Brandao's on a 3-fight win streak, Poirier is kind of like on that top 10, 9, 10, you know, coming off a big win over Eric Koch. Records-wise, Dustin Poirier, 14-3 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by sub, 24 years old, training out of ATT. He's a good kickboxer with good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Stand-up defense, though, needs some work. Diego Brandao, 18-8 record, 9 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He also has 4 losses by KO or TKO. He's 26 years old on a 3-fight win streak, training out of Jackson's. He has wild and reckless stand-up, heavy hands, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, improved wrestling. He's really strong in the first round and sucks after the first round. His cardio is really weak. Who you got, man?
I'm going with Dustin Poirier also.
Yeah, I'm going with Dustin Poirier to win this.
That you mentioned, so.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. I think he can survive. It's all about surviving the first round with Diego Brandao. Because Brandao in that first round, I mean, you can see in all of his fights, even fights he lost against Darren Elkins, his first rounds are amazing. And then he just gasses hard. After that, he puts so much into his punches and into his offense that he just tires himself out. He can't pace himself well. A few times he has paced himself well, you know, or against lower level competition, like Joey Gambino, for example. But the other times, you know, he just really hasn't. You know, Poirier, always in the fight. That's the thing. Really game opponent. Okay, on to the prelim card, which will be on Fox Sports 1. We got Uriah Hall versus Chris the Crippler Leben. Who do you got, man?
I got Chris Leben.
Nice.
He's on, you know, a bit of a he's on a 3-fight losing streak. He trains at Alliance. He's a veteran. He's got heavy hands. He's a brawler. His grappling is underrated, and he's got a strong chin. It's deteriorating a bit, but I think it's gonna hold up.
Cool, man. You know, I got Uriah Hall. He's 7-4, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. He's got some good Muay Thai, really good kicks, uses spinning strikes. He's athletic. His grappling is improving, but man, his mental game sucks. I don't know how else to say it, man. If this guy could get past that mental barrier, he can be a top prospect. I mean, this guy has the skill, the athleticism. It's just that, he's playing patty cake with John Howard or something, giving him high fives and bro hugging him with Gastelum. It's kind of like he's fighting to Gastelum's level and doesn't seem to want to hurt him. You know, he even admits as much in the post-fight, you know, and interviews after the fight. You know, he's my friend, blah, 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 blah. And that's the thing with Uriah Hall. Chris Leben, he ain't their friend in the cage, man. You know, that's the thing. And he hits hard, you know. So, you know, I'm going to go with Hall here, but, you know, those mental blocks could definitely make it where Chris Leben wins. Okay, next fight after that, Michael Johnson fights Gleison Tibau. Who do you got, man?
I'm going with Michael Johnson, actually.
Michael Johnson, huh?
He's trains at the Blackzilians. Good kickboxing, good kicks, good offensive wrestling. Takedown defense is a bit inconsistent, kind of weak off his back. He's been subject to some mental lapses in the past, but I think he could take Gleison.
You know, it's interesting about what you said, too, with Michael Johnson. His kickboxing is solid. I mean, you watch his fight against Tony Ferguson, and, man, he just beat up Joe Lozon in his last fight. On and on. Yeah, his takedown defense is a bit on and off, because I've seen him, defend takedowns well, and then guys like Miles Jury will take him down, like, just all day. Reza Madadi will have a hard time in the first or second round. I think the first round taking them down. And then, like, later in the fight, he gets taken down all of a sudden. So, he has these weird mental lapses to where, like, he's winning and then he's losing. You know, all of a sudden he's just in this really bad position. But Michael Johnson, definitely a prospect to look out for. But Gleison Tibau, 28-9 record, 3 wins by KO TKO, 12 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO TKO. He's 30 years old on a 2-fight win streak. He's big for 155. I mean, he's like the consensus biggest 155er out there, pretty much. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt with good wrestling and strong top control. He's kind of becoming a grinder as of late. His cardio sucks too. His third rounds are generally pretty terrible. Stand-up is improving though. I'll go with Tibau to grind out at least the first 2 rounds. Next fight after that, Dennis Siver fights Manny Gamburyan. I got Siver. Who do you got, man?
I got Siver also. Karate style. Pretty big for 145. Strong kicks, good left hook, high output, improved wrestling, good takedown defense. You know, he's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, that's actually a lot of ingredients that would, or a lot of skills that would really stifle Manny Gamburyan. Gamburyan has a 13-7 record, 2 wins by KO TKO, 6 wins by sub. Also has 2 losses by KO TKO. He's 32 years old on a 2-fight win streak. He does have strong judo, and he's relentless about getting the takedowns, but Siver legitimately has really good takedown defense, and is just strong and huge for the weight class. He's really aggressive. He's got good top control and average stand-up. I think Siver beats him in the stand-up. I think he defends his takedowns. You know, I think Siver takes this pretty handily, actually. Okay, next fight after that, John Doomsday Howard fights Siyar the Great Bahadurzada. Okay, who do you got, man?
I'm gonna go with John Howard.
Doomsday,
fight win streak. Good kickboxing, heavy hands, improved grappling, and can't even pronounce the other guys. So.
Yeah, with Siyar, he has a 21-5 record with 1 draw, 11 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by sub. However, John Howard, out of 21-8 record, 9 of his wins are by KO or TKO and 6 wins are by sub. So they definitely, as far as finishing rate goes, they definitely have a similar finishing rate. Siyar's 29 years old, training out of the Black Zillions. Also a good kickboxer with heavy hands. I think Siyar might be a little more diverse in the stand-up than John Howard. This should be a fun. If it stays on the feet, it should be a fun kickboxing battle. Well, I'll go with Siyar Bahadurzada to win this one.
Sounds good.
Okay, on to the Facebook prelims. We got Bobby Voelker versus William Macario. I got Voelker. You know,
I got Voelker. Very game, resilient, pushes forward, good kickboxing. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing with William Macario, he came from the Ultimate Fighter Brazil 2. He has a 6-1 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. That's has 1 loss by sub. He's only 22 years old and never been to decision. Never been past the second round. The only thing is, his stand-up's good, but it's kind of sloppy. He does hit hard. He's still just really green. His cardio's not that great. His grappling isn't that great. And Bobby Voelker, not the greatest fighter, just something of a journeyman, but like you said, game as hell. I mean, watch the Patrick Cote fight, watch his fights against Roger Bowling, you know, 24-10 record, 15 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub. He has 3 losses by KO or TKO. He's 34 years old on a 2-fight losing streak. But I think it's just resilience, overall aggression, and ability to push forward is going to win him the fight. Okay, and finally we have Estevan Payan versus Robbie Peralta. Okay, who do you got, man?
I'm gonna go with Estevan Payan. Trains at Arizona Combat Sports. Stand up is average, moderate. Good wrestling. That's who I'm going with.
I got Robbie Peralta. He has a 6-8-4 record with 1 no contest. 12 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. That's 2 losses by sub. He's coming off a loss to Akira Kurosani. Before that, I did find him to be something of a dark horse prospect at 145. Really heavy hands, a good kickboxer. He's only 27 years old. He's looking pretty good until that fight. He just kind of looks kind of slow and plodding in that fight. But I'll still go with Robbie Peralta to win this one. Okay, let's recap, man. Okay, on the main card with Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva. I got Chris Weidman. Who do you got, man?
I got Anderson Silva.
Okay, Ronda Rousey versus Miesha Tate. I got Ronda Rousey.
I got Ronda Rousey.
Okay. Josh Barnett versus Travis Browne. I got Josh Barnett.
I got Travis Browne.
Okay, Jim Miller versus Fabricio Camoes. I got Jim Miller.
I got... Who did I get?
Jim Miller.
Jim Miller.
And Dustin Poirier fights Diego Brandao. I'll go with Dustin Poirier.
I'm going with Dustin Poirier.
Okay, on to the Fox Sports 1 prelims. Uriah Hall fights Chris Leben. I got Uriah Hall.
I got Chris Leben.
Okay, Michael Johnson fights Gleison Tibau. I got Gleison Tibau.
I got Michael Johnson.
Okay, Dennis Siver fights Manny Gamburyan. I'll go with Dennis Siver.
I got Dennis Siver.
Okay, and John Howard fights Siyar Bahadurzada. I got Siyar Bahadurzada. Who do you got?
Got the other guy.
John Howard?
Yep. John Howard.
On the Facebook prelims, Bobby Voelker fights William Macario. I got Bobby Voelker.
I
believe it's Bobby Voelker.
Yeah, I've got Bobby Voelker.
And Estevan Payan fights Robbie Peralta. I'll go with Robbie Peralta.
I got Estevan Payan.
So that's pretty much it for our predictions for UFC 168 Silva versus Weidman 2. If you have any comments below, comments, just leave them below. Got any final words, my man?
I do have a couple final words. Actually, I got quite a few. First of all, I hope Shane Del Rosario gets better. I heard that he's in critical condition, but hope he makes it through, and wish him the best with that. Paul Walker, I know he did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's like a brown belt, and we're all very saddened by that. I mean, needless to say, he's like he's just Fast and Furious and all that stuff. And then quick shout out to Rexy, obviously, with Q's Lounge. And then I actually wanted to ask you a couple questions about some fights that were coming up in the future. They're talking about John Jones and Kane. Do you think that's gonna happen?
No,
because John's not gonna move up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna.
And then we got Machida fighting Musasi at some point in the near future. How do you feel about that?
Check my prediction video when it happens.
Alrighty then. So yeah, and then that's it's I don't know, all these events, current events, kind of remind you that life is pretty precious and it's kind of short, and so you kind of want to just be thankful for if you're healthy, and if you're in good spirits and things like that. So yeah,
cool. Nice, man. So yeah, that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.